I think that really comes down to integrity. And I've always felt that that's how I've made my food, with integrity. I never compromised anything. We have this thing where I try to use wild caught local fish, and I won't compromise that. That's what our food is about. And I'm not going to change that because I can get a different fish cheaper or something like that. To me, that's integrity. I put my soul on the plate every time I make something. And I really like to think that my motivation for that was not a personal guarantee. It was for my love of this food.
All right. Tell me more about the wild caught local fish. I mean, I've eaten what I thought was really good sushi in Denver, Colorado.
Right.
Right.
You probably did eat really good sushi in Denver, Colorado.
But it obviously could not have adhered to the ethos of wild caught local fish. So you're saying that nothing at Saiko Sushi is like flown in from Massachusetts, or nothing?
That's not true, because we have salmon, and there is no salmon in San Diego.
Okay.
But we use a salmon from a farm in New Zealand. I went there to the farm. I know the people. I really 100% stand behind the product. And we use that. We don't pretend that it's local. We kind of, show off the fact that it's from this farm in New Zealand. It was the first salmon farm in the world certified green by the Monterey Bay Aquarium, which is a really big deal. And
my impression of salmon farms are they are massive polluters, and you're eating fish that has to be dyed orange because of just they were raised. What makes that salmon farm different in New Zealand?
So these guys are really cool. So these guys in New Zealand learned to hatch salmon from eggs, essentially breed salmon from eggs. And they took these eggs to the top of Mount Cook in New Zealand, nowhere near an ocean. And they made their salmon farms in the tributaries, right, in the glacial runoffs from Mount Cook. So the water is that, there's no industry above them, right? So there's nothing polluting this water. It's flowing down from the glacier. It's like 10,000 years old ice that's melting, right? The mineral content is super high. Like the water gets this crazy metallic blue color. We drank the water from very close to the salmon farm. It's great. So the water is one thing, right? The commitment to sustainable diet that they feed the fish is another thing. Buzzword, buzzword, buzzword. I think what really makes this fish great is the containment units that are essentially make up this farm in these tributaries. They can be a certain size and no more. So when the salmon farm wants to grow and expand their business, they don't make the farm bigger. They make another little farm in another tributary, right? So they've got the formula down to how many salmon in how much space to produce the product that they want. But the water, these tributaries, the water is moving at this crazy rate of like 2 million gallons a minute or something like that move through this thing. So the salmon is essentially exercising, right? As opposed to like every other animal and every other farm in the world that like we sell this shit by the pound. So just stand there, keep eating, get fat, I make more money. These guys are not doing that. And so the king salmon that they use is a little different from other fish, which store their fat intramuscular, right? Fish and animals, including humans, right? They store fat different ways so that when they exercise, they would burn muscle before fat, right?
Burn fat before muscle.
Sorry. No. They burn muscle before fat. So when they die, there's a bunch of fat in there. The fat oxidizes, and that's what makes it taste fishy. But king salmon store their fat subcutaneously. They store it under their skin. So when they exercise, they burn fat first.
Okay.
So when they die, there's no fat in there. They're very lean, and there's nothing to oxidize and taste fishy.
Is king salmon the only type of salmon you get from this fish farm?
It's the only thing they do.
The salmon comes from New Zealand.
Mm-hmm.
The tuna caught local?